When you first hear a Skillibeng track, it doesn't feel like just another dancehall song. It hits different. There's grime in his voice, a cryptic intensity in his bars, and an unpredictable swagger that makes you feel like you're being let in on a secret. A glimpse into a wild, unfiltered Jamaica that isn't trying to be anything but raw. Skillibeng, born M.W. Warmington, has become one of the most fascinating and polarizing forces in modern dancehall. Whether he's being praised for pushing boundaries or critiqued for straying too far from tradition, one thing is certain: you cannot ignore him. This is not the story of a neatly packaged rise to fame. Skillibeng's journey feels jagged, chaotic, and oddly perfect. It mirrors the unpredictable streets of St. Thomas, the eastern parish of Jamaica where he grew up, a region often overshadowed by Kingston in dancehall lore. But in the shadows, Skillibeng was crafting something new, something bold, something sinister and magnetic, something like crocodile teeth. The roots, St. Thomas and the birth of a rebel. Unlike the urban energy of Kingston or the touristic allure of Montego Bay, St. Thomas has long been the quiet parish. It's largely rural, often overlooked in Jamaica's cultural narrative. But for Skillibeng, this was the soil that nurtured his sound. Isolated, gritty, and fiercely independent. His environment gave him space to develop a voice that wasn't shaped by trends, but by raw instinct. Born on December 23, 1996, M.W. Warmington wasn't always destined to be an artist. Like many young men in the region, he juggled school with survival. He attended Morant Bay High School and dabbled in music with friends. He wasn't a polished performer at first, far from it, but he was curious, fearless, and weirdly magnetic. The rawness that would later become his trademark was already surfacing in those early freestyles. He chose the name Skillibeng, a mashup inspired by the Jamaican slang skilly, clever, and the ending bang, which added a rhythmic punch. It wasn't traditional, but neither was he. He didn't chase Kingston's mainstream studios. He started in the East, uploading tracks to YouTube, refining his flow in small studios, and building a loyal fan base through sheer vibe. Early on, his sound was experimental, a blend of patois-heavy bars, odd beat choices, and a nonchalant delivery that confused some listeners and thrilled others. Brik Pan Brik, the breakout moment. By 2019, Skillibeng had found his pocket, and then came the song that would change everything, Brik Pan Brik. The track was hypnotic in its simplicity. It didn't rely on heavy production or traditional song structure. Instead, it leaned on repetition and atmosphere. With every Brik Pan Brik, Skillibeng planted his flag deeper into the culture. The song became a street anthem, a coded flex about hustling and rising through the cracks. In the age of short attention spans and social media snippets, Brik Pan Brik became the perfect viral storm. Memes, dance challenges, and raw street videos pushed it across platforms. Suddenly, everyone was asking, who is this Skillibeng guy? He wasn't the typical clean-cut breakout artist. He looked like one of the youths from the ends, skinny, intense, quiet, and enigmatic. His interviews didn't reveal much. He wasn't trying to be charismatic. He let the music speak, and the streets were listening. The East Side Movement. Around the same time, Skillibeng began championing a phrase, East Side. It was more than a label. It was a brand, a movement, and a declaration of independence. East Side represented the underdogs from the East who were carving their own path, separate from Kingston's legacy. With East Side Records, Skillibeng surrounded himself with a tight circle of creatives, producers, and videographers who embraced minimalism and grit. They didn't chase mainstream acceptance. They doubled down on authenticity, street visuals, lo-fi aesthetics, and content that felt local but universal. Through East Side, Skillibeng found the freedom to experiment. His early videos, often shot in his neighborhood, had an underground, almost guerrilla-style energy. No high-budget gloss, just realness. He flipped what music video meant, letting his surroundings narrate the story. Crocodile teeth, the sonic boom. If Brik Pan Brik cracked the door open, crocodile teeth kicked it off the hinges. Released in 2020, this track was haunting. Built on a sparse, piano-driven beat with unsettling undertones. Skillibeng delivered each line like a calculated threat. He wasn't shouting, he wasn't hyping, he was whispering violence, and that made it all the more terrifying. Lines like "crocodile teeth, a me mek you marrow fly" weren't just lyrics, they were incantations. It was gangster storytelling, but with a horror film tone. And it worked. In an industry saturated with high-energy dancehall, Crocodile Teeth stood out by doing the opposite. It chilled. Then the game changed again. Nicki Minaj dropped a remix. The queen of rap co-signed Skillibeng and brought his sound to a global stage. But instead of softening his edge, she embraced it. The remix didn't polish the original, it amplified it. And Skillibeng? He didn't shift an inch. His verses remained cryptic, dark, and 100% Jamaican. The art of being unpredictable. Skillibeng's catalog is messy, in a good way. It's full of sonic experiments, half songs, voice notes turned singles, and fully fleshed out bangers. One moment he's on a gritty trap beat, the next he's chanting over drill, and then suddenly he's riding a dancehall rhythm with autotune. To critics, this inconsistency is frustrating, but to fans, it's part of the thrill. You never know what you're going to get with a Skillibeng drop. Will it be genius? Will it be weird? Who knows? Tracks like Mr. Universe, Not, and Torpedo show his range. Some are lyrical flexes, others are melodic experiments. Then there are tracks like Wap Wap, which went viral for its absurd energy, even sparking controversy over its content and musicality. Yet even in the criticism, people kept talking. And in today's attention economy, that's power. Controversy, criticism, and clarity. Skillibeng isn't afraid of backlash. In fact, he almost seems to thrive on it. He's had beefs with fellow artists. He's taken shots at the media. He's clashed with traditionalists who claim he's killing dancehall with his abstract style. Yet in each wave of critique, he responds the same way. He drops more music. He rarely explains his lyrics or decisions. That ambiguity leaves fans and critics to fill in the blanks, and that fuels his mythos. What's more fascinating is how Skillibeng's style has sparked a mini revolution in dancehall. Younger artists have started experimenting more with their delivery, production, and image. Skillibeng cracked the door for them to be weird, gritty, and genre fluid, without losing their Jamaican identity. Beyond music, fashion, persona, and branding, Skillibeng's artistry extends beyond the microphone. His fashion sense, part streetwear, part mystic, part military, mirrors his unpredictable persona. Whether in bulletproof vests or oversized shades, he crafts an aesthetic of calculated chaos. Even his Instagram presence is cryptic, minimal captions, abstract photos, and random video snippets that never quite explain themselves. This branding isn't accidental. In a world where overexposure often dilutes mystique, Skillibeng has managed to make silence and minimalism part of his persona. Fans feel like they're decoding him, not just watching him, and that creates loyalty. People love an enigma. Global reach. Local roots. Skillibeng has graced the stages of major festivals, from Reggae Sumfest to Rolling Loud, and collaborated with heavyweights like DJ Khaled, Fivio Foreign, and Burna Boy. Yet through it all, he continues to represent Jamaica with every syllable of raw patois. Even when navigating global waters, he refuses to dilute his identity. That choice might limit some commercial opportunities, but it cements his credibility in the streets, both in Jamaica and among the diaspora. Legacy in the making. It's still early, but Skillibeng has already left a mark on dancehall. He didn't just arrive, he shifted the sound. He challenged the expectations of what a dancehall star should look, sound, and act like. He brought the spooky back to the streets. He made the weird cool. And most importantly, he inspired a generation to be fearless. Whether or not he evolves into a household name globally, he's already a cultural force at home. And he did it without bending, without explaining, and without waiting for permission. Skillibeng is not for everyone, but that was never the point. He's for those who feel the tension between chaos and creativity, for those who know that art doesn't always have to be polished to be powerful. And if you're uncomfortable with that, Skillibeng would probably say, good. In a musical landscape often obsessed with perfection, Skillibeng thrives in the unpredictable. He isn't trying to be polished, relatable, or even understood. He's trying to be real. And in doing so, he's given dancehall a new language, a darker rhythm, and a strange, mesmerizing energy that refuses to be ignored. For some, he's a genius, for others, a puzzle. But love him or question him, Skillibeng represents something powerful. The freedom to break rules, to sound different, and to carve a path that isn't approved, only felt. His story is still being written, track by track, glitch by glitch. And if the first few chapters are any indication, the best, or wildest, is yet to come. Because Skillibeng isn't just making music, he's building a legacy where chaos is art and authenticity is king.